On today's show, the Ottawa Senators losing streak is over.
And they've got a game tonight. We've got a full game day preview up against the New York Rangers.
This is Brady Tkachuk, and you're listening to the Locked On Senators podcast.
Your Locked On Senators, your daily podcast on the Ottawa Senators. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome. You are locked on to the Ottawa Senators. I'm Ross Levitan alongside Brandon Piller. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. FanDuel officially in playoff mode, so visit FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NFL, and grab your profit boost pack every NFL playoff game day. Today is Wednesday, January 14th, and Pillsy, did the Ottawa Senators get their swagger back?
They just might have, Ross. It doesn't matter who they beat. It doesn't matter how close the game was. It doesn't matter how many more goals they should have scored. They got the 2 points. A regulation win at home will take it, and they need to use that momentum in tonight's game up against another team that's struggling. Last night, Vancouver Canucks, worst team in the NHL. Well, the New York Rangers, worst team in the East. So let's take advantage of this, and why not pack together 4 points and a nice little back-to-back before a big back-to-back against 2 division rivals this weekend.
Yeah, we got 2 days to prepare for that here on Locked On Sens. So we'll save the conversations about Montreal and Detroit for that. But you look ahead and just what could be down the pipeline to go into it with 2 consecutive wins. It wouldn't make you feel forgetful about the stretch of 4 straight regulation losses and how bad things have been over the last couple of weeks, but it would definitely give you a new kick in the pants to get going here and allow the Ottawa Senators to start climbing the standings a little bit. We know Columbus is about to get a new coach bump. They got a big win last night, albeit against Calgary. And you've got the Panthers, winners of 2 straight. That was a team that was at least in your vicinity before. So now it's about making up those lost points. In Ottawa, I felt like they brought their feet yesterday. They were skating first shift all the way through the end of the game. I didn't think that there was any letdowns. I really felt like this was one of their better 60-minute efforts. And sure, Canucks played the night before, and Ottawa was fresh off of 2 days. It looked that way. But that is Ottawa's identity. When they're playing well, they're fast, they're forechecking, they're disrupting in the offensive zone, they're getting the puck back to the point, they're ripping pucks, both goals scored by defensemen in yesterday's game. Like, that's the recipe for success for the Ottawa Senators.
Yeah, and scoring first does so much for this team. They had scored first in 8 straight games. Sure, they get the first goal in Florida, doesn't do enough for them, but this one, you get that first goal by Zub, the crowd gets going, and then Ross, one of your favorite things, the goal hasn't even been announced yet in the arena, and already we're hearing the goal song and the goal horn again to make it 2-0, 15 seconds apart. That's what you need to really boost momentum. And sure, you would have liked the Ottawa Senators to tack on a couple more when they get 40 shots, but what did I say yesterday, Ross? Just find a way to score 1 more goal than the Vancouver Canucks, and I'll be happy. And they did that. So I'm happy. I'm not with the Sens fans that are saying, oh, this didn't inspire confidence in me at all. We barely beat the Vancouver Canucks. Fair comment. But we needed this win so badly just to stop the bleeding, to try to turn things around and to gain a little bit momentum. Like, Ross, you could hear it in the players' voices in the post-game pressers. They weren't like ecstatic or fired up or anything. It just felt like they had a weight lifted off their shoulders, and they were just relieved to not have to talk about how much it sucks to lose, to not have to talk about off-ice rumors or anything like that. They got to talk about a win and what they're looking forward to in tonight's game.
And there is a lot to look forward to. We'll get to that in just a few minutes. But one thing I want to point out, because you brought up scoring the first goal. This season, when the Senators score first, they're 13-3-2. The only problem is that's only 18 times, and the Sens have played 45 games. So that needs to keep going in the right direction. Another interesting stat is when the Senators are leading after the first period, like they did last night, leading after the first period, they're 12-1-2 on the season. But again, it's only happened 15 times. 30 times it hasn't happened. But if the Senators can find a way to get a lead after the first period, they're almost unbeatable because the way that Travis Green's system of keeping shots to the outside and not allowing all of this volume of shots against Ottawa, one of the best shot suppression teams in the National Hockey League, again last night, not giving up a whole lot. You look at playing like that with the lead, it just gives you such a big advantage. But when you're playing from behind, I find like this team doesn't really have the juice sometimes to be able to come back offensively. They've got a couple dogs up front that can score anytime, but there's not that scoring, I would say, throughout the lineup as much. They're more structured, more defensive. So that would show by the fact that when they're trailing after the first period, they have 3 wins this season. So it's not the be-all, end-all, just an interesting note there that if the Sens get up to a first period lead, they're probably going to win the game.
And you had a couple other key ingredients for the recipe for success for the Ottawa Senators, Ross. You had the goalie get positive saves above expected, Levi Marilainen. We got to give him a lot of credit. That's a guy that needed a confidence boost, and he got it. He played well. He got the win. You got a Shane Pinto point as well. That always helps. So basically, Ross, for the Ottawa Senators to win, we need 4 things. We need positive goal save above expected. Yep. We need to score first. We need to lead in the first period, and then a Shane Pinto point. If all 4 of those things happen, might as well not play the game. Ref, just blow the whistle, send everybody home, and beat the traffic and wrap it up and move on to the next game.
And that's going to have to happen again tonight because Ottawa doesn't have points to afford to lay by the wayside. They have to be able to attack this game with the same ferocity that they started last game with, and I think they'll be in a good spot. This is also a place where you're looking at the Senators to kind of break the backs, if you will, of the New York Rangers. This is a team that is the worst team at home so far this season. They have 2 regulation wins in 21 games at home. They have 5 total wins, and they have only led after the first period at home 3 times in 21 games this season. This is not a team that comes out hot at home. They're averaging less than 2 goals a game on home ice. And what are tickets costing at MSG? Somebody check Game Time. I feel for those fans, but not tonight. I'm hoping that my boys, Brody, Harrison, Pileski, Wes, these guys are going to have a great night on the road. And I know Avi and his dad, Shmuel. We got some Sens fans in New York. I think Avi's actually in Texas, but you look at, there's some Sens fans in New York, and I'm hoping that they have just a fantastic night.
Yeah, me too. I'm hoping we can really start the momentum here. And again, I said it. Sens fans wanted me to smash the panic button on the weekend in that loss to Florida. I said, hold on. We got a week coming up here where if you start things off good up against 2 weaker teams that you should beat, and then you carry that into the weekend up against 2 Atlantic Division rivals, that because if you beat, I know we're getting ahead of ourselves here, but if you were able to find a way to get the win tonight and then go into that weekend and beat both of those teams, like beating Montreal and Detroit back to back, like those are the games I feel like maybe you add the Leafs in there that the fan base and the players get up for the most. Like those really mean something. It's important to keep those teams down and boost yourself up. So you need this momentum to carry yourself positively into the weekend.
Well, let's get to the preview then. Next, you're listening to Locked On Senators, your team every day.
Today's episode is brought to you by our friends over at Quo. New year, new systems. This is the time when a lot of us look at the messier parts of how we run our business and think there has to be a better way. Good news, there is. Streamlining your communications is one of the quickest upgrades you can make. That's why today's episode is brought to you by Quo, spelled Q-U-O, the smarter way to run your business communications. Because when your team is reachable, organized, and communicating in one place, you're not just working cleaner, you're creating more opportunities to connect with more customers. Your team can call and text from one shared business number. Everyone sees the full conversation thread, which makes replies faster and more personal. It works right from your phone or computer, and you can even keep your existing number, and Quo's smart AI tools automatically log calls, summarize conversations, and highlight next steps. It's no surprise Quo is the #1 rated business phone system on G2, trusted by more than 90,000 businesses. Make this the year where no opportunity and no customer slips away. Try Quo for free, plus get 20% off your first 6 months when you go to quo.com/lockedonnhl. That's QUO.com/lockedonnhl. Quo, no missed calls, no missed customers.
Today's episode is also brought to you by the GLEBE Central Pub. If you're looking for a place that lives and breathes hockey, the GLEBE Central Pub is the spot for you. It's right in the heart of the Glebe, just steps from Lansdowne at 779 Bank Street. You can head there for a good time and a long time if you're out shopping on the weekend, maybe heading to a PWHL game, the Ottawa Charge playing just down the road. And the Charge, albeit on the road for the next couple of days, they've got January 28th at home, TD Place, the last game before Olympics, so why not start the day at the Glebe Central Pub? You can also check out the Glebe Central Pub's website, GLEBECentralPub.com, and get your tickets for just $18 on the Sens Shuttle. They've got tickets still available for the January 24th game against Carolina, January 25th against Vegas. Colorado is here on the 28th. What a stretch for the Sens there. And oh, yeah. The bus is rolling this Saturday. Sens, Montreal. Get your tickets, GLEBECentralPub.com, and head to the place where the vibes are free. What better way to prove it than live music every Saturday night with no cover ever? 779 Bank Street. Let them know that Locked On Senators sent you. Thank you for making Locked On Senators your first listen and the Locked On Podcast Network, the #1 sports podcast network. You already live your team every day. Now let's take it up a level and go ad-free. You can join the Everydayers Club today and get Locked On Sens with no interruptions, as well as a members-only Discord access and more, just for $5 USD a month or $50 USD per year. Really appreciate all the great support there. Christopher, our most recent subscriber, really appreciate that. Matthew Hall, Walter Sampson as well. Shout out to everybody joining us in the Everydayer Club. Billsy, it is a Senators game day tonight, and note the start time, 7:30 Eastern. Feels like we've been a while since we've had a 7:30 game, but you might have to come right back to the Locked On Sens YouTube page. I think Jack might run it back.
I mean, after getting a win, it'd be crazy not to. So I sure hope so. And yeah, this is a fun opportunity for the Sens, a New York Rangers team that's down and out, a Sens team that was down and out, but now building some momentum. Let's keep them down and boost us up.
Yeah, just like last week, Ottawa falls 8-2 to Colorado. You're like, man, that sucks. And then you look, and I think it was 2 nights later, the Rangers lost 10-2. To the Boston Bruins. This is a team that's without their starting goalie, Igor Shesterkin. They're without their best defenseman, Adam Fox, and they're just not able to score at home, despite having some guys who historically are really good scorers. Former 100-point man, JT Miller. Did Panarin ever hit 100 points? If not, he's been close. Mika Zibanejad's been a 40-goal guy.
95 for Panarin. Oh, no, never mind. Panarin had 120 one year.
No way.
Yeah,
Sheesh.
23-24.
Wow. But they just can't score right now. Anyways, let's get to the numbers behind this game. And of course, we'll have the postcast for you after tonight's game. The score of tonight's game is likely going to be high because both teams allow a lot of goals. Now, you might say, what? The Rangers' goals against average as a team is .296. Well, yeah. How much of that, though, is Igor Shesterkin? I know Jonathan Quick had a good start to the season, but he hasn't been that same guy of recent days. Well, the Senators are still allowing 3 1/3 goals per game. Both teams just with 1 win in their last 5 games. The Rangers come into this game, as Pilsy mentioned, last in the Eastern Conference. They have 46 points in 47 games. Ottawa with 47 points, so 1 more point in 2 less games. Billsy, what other stats jump out here between the two clubs?
Both teams are very strong in the faceoff dot. You look at the Sens at 55.5, the Rangers at 53.8. But I think it's going to be difficult battling this penalty kill, especially with how weak the Ottawa Senators power play has been. And there are some key players left here in the New York Rangers lineup, even without Fox and Shesterkin. We'll get to that, especially my lookout players. So they can be dangerous. And I think a team that's been down like this, they're on a 4-game losing streak where they've allowed, 15, 19, 22 goals, and they've only scored 8. So they've been outscored 22-8 in their last 4 games on a losing streak. They're going to be pissed off and they're going to want to change their fortunes, but luckily they haven't been able to change their fortunes at home. We hope that trend continues.
And not only that, the Sens should still be pissed off too. This shouldn't be a complacent Senators team. It can't be a complacent Senators team with the way things have been going for them this year. So I'm of the mind that this is going to be a real desperation game for both teams, and we'll see who comes out on top. One matchup that I'm going to be watching for in tonight's game is going to be Claude Giroux against Vincent Trocheck in the faceoff dot. 2 of the best faceoff men in the National Hockey League. If you sort by minimum 100 faceoffs taken this season, it's Claude Giroux first, by the way, 65%, 2% better than anybody else. Trocheck's actually fallen off here. He was right next to him earlier on this season. He's all the way down at 55.1%. So still good, but not up there. You know who is, though, is JT Miller, who is lined up like Claude Giroux as a winger, but expect him to take a lot of draws. He's 4th in the National Hockey League in face-off win percentage. The 2 in between, Jonathan Toews and Gabriel Landeskog. Landeskog's only taken 147, though everyone else over 500. So just a nice face-off matchup to watch for, since you talked about both teams being excellent in that category. The Senators have the edge in numbers at 5-on-5, shot quality, shot quantity. Power plays a little bit better. The team shoots a full percentage point better than the New York Rangers, but it's all going to come down to who wants it more in this game and who's going to get more saves. On that note, let's look at the Ottawa Senators and how we expect them to line up, or at least how they lined up in last night's game. Tim Stützle between Fabian Zetterlund and Drake Batherson. Dylan Cousins between Brady Tkachuk and Claude Giroux. Shane Pinto centering Ridley Gregg and Michael Amadio. Lars Eller with Nick Cousins and David Perron. The champ line down there, each of them with the Stanley Cup. On defense, Jake Sanderson with Artem Zub. Thomas Chabot with Nick Jensen. And Tyler Kleven with Jordan Spence. I'm putting Reimer as the starter. Senators will not practice today, and Travis Green will address the media at 5 p.m., so that is when we will find out who's starting in goal. Let's just hope the goalies know who's starting before that.
I was going to say, Ross, I bet that's when the goalies find out who's starting as well. I wonder if they traveled with 3 goalies. We don't know that yet either. So honestly, it could be any 3 of Reimer, Merilainen, and Hunter Shepard, and I wouldn't be too surprised because the way the Sens have been managing their goalie has been irresponsible, to say the least, the last a little while here.
Who is your locked-on player to watch tonight?
My locked-on player to watch is going to be 24, Dylan Cousins. He was so close to scoring last night, that weird diving play where the puck was just in the crease and Lankinen was able to get a piece of it. But he has no points in the last 4 games. Now, mind you, the Ottawa Senators have only scored 7 goals in 4 games, so it's not just him that needs to bump it up. But I just feel like I haven't seen enough from Dylan Cousins in the last little while. And we talked about the power play going dry. This guy leads the Ottawa Senators in power play goals. I want to see him pick it back up on the power play and at least generate a little bit more opportunity 5-on-5, because he's not really getting a lot of shots on goal either in that Florida game. He didn't have any. 3 in Vancouver, 3 in Colorado, 2 against the Utah Mammoths. So I want to see a little bit more from Dylan Cousins. So I'm going to be locked on to him tonight.
Well, not to mention that was a brutal giveaway that led to the goal.
Yes.
Again.
Yep.
So he's got to clean that up. I agree with you. He's got too much talent to be not contributing offensively the way he is. And I know that the graphic they pulled up was way more to show Jake DeBrusk leading the league in percentage of goals on the power play. But Dylan Cousins is over 50% of his goals on the power play. 7 out of his 12 goals come with the man advantage. So really would like to see him get some even strength 5-on-5 scoring. I did like how we almost had my fan fiction come true. There was a 3-on-2 rush where Brady shot it from the slot. Cousins came in and banged at it, and then Giroux was there, but no rebound available for him. So the Levy lock does not hit last night. Giroux had a couple good chances too. Anyways, so no Levy lock tonight, but I will be locked on to Brady Tkachuk because this is his favorite building to play in outside of Ottawa in the National Hockey League. And everybody remembers his Gordie Howe hat trick there a couple of years ago where he ties the game late. He scores the winner in overtime, and he fights the captain then of the Rangers, Jacob Trouba, at center ice MSG. Like that, and maybe what's forgotten in that is he tried to do the exit stage right after his overtime goal, tucks it 5-hole on Shesterkin, and then just tried to get off the ice, but the door was jammed. So wake up, MSG. You lost us there. But obviously the world's most famous arena and the bright lights might be a good thing here for Brady Tkachuk because, look, there was a lot of criticism about his play in recent weeks. I thought yesterday was a good game for Brady Tkachuk. One thing, though, that I'm noticing him doing a lot, and I'd really like him to stop doing it, is just blindly ripping pucks into the crease. But like it's like he's trying to get guys to get a stick on it, but like 95% of the time, it's just going right across and hitting the boards on the other side.
Yeah, I get that. Although I don't mind.
It's just like a blind play. He's just like, oh, let's get towards the net.
But you're not going to hear me complaining when that's what I talked about yesterday is just get pucks towards the net. Fabian Zetterlund scored a goal similar to that. And if someone's out front, you can at least create an opportunity. I know it's a lower percentage play and it can cause turnovers. But
it's a prayer play.
But with the way this team's been going, Ross, right now, I don't necessarily hate just getting it towards the net.
I guess what I would say is if you're going to have that as the strategy, have anybody but Brady do it because he's got the best hands in tight. He should be the guy that's standing in the crease and trying to get a stick on it because Dylan Cousins and Claude Giroux haven't been able to get that last touch to get it in the back of the net. No, that's all I'm saying. But I'm locked on to number 7 tonight. I think some of my boys that are going to the game are rocking the old 7 jersey. Nice. So let's see the 7 horse come to play tonight. I want him off to the races. I want him playing fast, physical, and I need every Rangers fan after the game salivating over potentially one day Brady Tkachuk playing for the Rangers. Buddy, he's a Senator for life, captain of the squad. Speaking of the Rangers, though, they did trade for a captain. The only problem is he might not be any good anymore. Rangers previews next.
Nice.
You're listening to Locked On Senators, your team every day.
Today's episode is brought to you by our friends over at Factor. New year, big goals, and somehow even less time to cook. If you're trying to eat better but don't want to spend hours grocery shopping or meal prepping or doing the dishes, Factor makes it easy. These are fully prepared meals designed by dietitians and crafted by chefs, so you know you can eat well without all that work. Factor meals are made with quality, functional ingredients, lean proteins, colorful veggies, whole foods, and healthy fats. No refined sugars, no artificial sweeteners, and no refined seed oils. Just real food that fits your goals, whether that's eating healthier, managing calories, or getting more protein. My favorite thing about Factor is the variety. They got over 100 rotating meals every week, including high protein, calorie smart, Mediterranean, and more. The meals are always fresh, never frozen, and they're ready in about 2 minutes. No prep, no stress. It makes sticking to your goals so much easier because the food is already done for you. So head to factormeals.com/LockedOnNHL50 off and use code LockedOnNHL50 off to get 50% off your first Factor box plus free breakfast for a whole year. That's factormeals.com/LockedOnNHL50 off. Code LockedOnNHL50 off. Make healthy eating easy with Factor.
Thank you for making Locked On Senators your first listen. We are part of Locked On Podcast Network, the #1 sports podcast network. And Pilsy, the Ottawa Senators have obviously had some success against the New York Rangers. Everyone thinks back, of course, to the very exciting 2017 playoff series. But you look at this new era of Ottawa Senators, and I'm trying to pull up a specific picture on my phone here because
Okay.
I got to go to see the Senators take on the New York Rangers, and I got to meet Nicole Anderson at that game back in 2019. That was one of Brady Tkachuk's first career games at Madison Square Garden, and I've found the stat. In 9 career games at Madison Square Garden, how many goals and assists do you think Brady Tkachuk has? You can just give me points if you want. I'll break it down. How many points in 9 career games?
I'll say 11.
12.
Ooh.
Very close. 4 goals, 8 assists for Brady Tkachuk at MSG. So let's see him.
I know
continue
2
that.
of them are game winners.
That is nope, not correct. One of them is game winner.
Oh, I thought he had 2. Maybe just that one is so emphatic I doubled it up.
Yeah, exactly. That game, he had 2 goals, an assist, a fight, game-winning goal, overtime goal, 8 shots on goal, and went.
But he did get another
top.
game winner against the Rangers at home. Then right
At home. That was
Okay.
when they were down 2 last year, and they tied it up. I think Amadio had one of them, and then they were able to get the tie to overtime, and then he scored the winner. Yes, that's exactly what you're thinking. This is just on the road at MSG, but he does only have 1 assist in his last 3 games at MSG. So I'd say that he's due to get on the score sheet tonight. All right, here's what he's going up against. The New York Rangers. We already talked about their team stats. They are struggling right now. They've got first-year head coach Mike Sullivan at the helm. It feels weird calling Mike Sullivan a first-year head coach. Let me reiterate that he is a first year with the New York Rangers head coach.
There you go.
He's been around for decades as a head coach in the National Hockey League. Heck, he is Team USA's head coach at the Olympics. Mika Zibanejad, hashtag Sens Abroad, is their number 1 center between Artemi Panarin and Will Cooley. The second line is Vincent Trocheck with Gabe Perreault and JT Miller. The third line is Noah Labau with Brennan Othman and Alexi Lafreniere. And the fourth line is Sam Carrick with Taylor Radish and Johnny Brodzinski. On defense, it's give me it.
Oh, it's Vladislav Gavrikov.
With Braden Schneider. The second pair is Matthew Robertson with Will Borgen. And the third pair, Carson Soucy with Scott Morrow. We expect it to be Jonathan Quick in goal. Spencer Martin has called up. That Spencer Martin, I'm telling you, he shut out the Senators last year, if not the year before, and I did not enjoy his battles with Brady Tkachuk. Shesterkin, Fox, Sheary, Edstrom, all injured. Matthew Rempe and Urho Vakanainen, the extras tonight for the Rangers. Who's your lookout player to watch?
My lookout player to watch is going to be a guy that is not struggling with the New York Rangers, Ross.
I really wanted you to go back and back to the Gavrikov well.
Oh, no, but I will go with Artemi Panarin. Artemi Panarin, he's very hot lately,
Is
Ross.
he? I don't like when he's heating up because he's a hell of a player.
The last 7 games, he's on a 7-game point streak, 12 points in those 7 games. He just continues to roll here. And we talk about players that are Ottawa Senators killers. Well, unfortunately, Artemi Panarin is an Ottawa Senators killer. In 26 career games against the Sens, he has 34 points. So this is a guy, no matter how the team is doing, you can always count on him to be building stats for himself. Like I mentioned, he had 120 points one year. This year, 46 games, 50 points, and 16 goals, Ross, but only one of them on the power play, which seems absolutely crazy to me. And it's important to note, this is a contract year for Artemi Panarin, 34 years old. His last year of his big deal, he signed with the Rangers, making over $11.6 million. And there's a lot of speculation that he might not be returning to the Big Apple. And he's probably trying to have a big year to boost his value, to get one more big contract in free agency. And there's going to be a lot of teams that would be more than interested in signing him. So this is a big year for Panarin, and he's going to want to keep his point streak rolling here. So look out for number 10.
Thing is, though, Panarin's already 34 years old, right? Like, how much term is he going to be able to command in the open market?
Teams will give him that extra year or two if that's what it takes to get him signed, though, Ross.
Yeah, he is a superstar player, man. He's already got 920 points in under 800 career games. Tonight's game, $7.99 for Artemi Panarin in his career against the Ottawa Senators has 34 points in 26 games and a plus 11 rating. My lookout player tonight is going to be Alexis Lafreniere, because look, this guy has had so much scrutiny around him when you look at how Tim Stützle has evolved as the best player from that draft class. As you look at Lucas Raymond doing great things in Detroit, Alexis Lafreniere is sitting on a lesser stat line than 38-year-old Claude Giroux, Pilsy. This is gross. 9 goals, 24 points on the season. He is a freezing cold minus 15 as well. He needs to figure it out. And I think a change of scenery might be the best play for him at this point in his career, because it's wasting away at 24 years old. He was such a special player. I remember watching this guy dance at the World Juniors. He was incredible that year. And unfortunately, it just never really panned out. He did have that one pretty good year, not last year, but the year before, where he had 28 goals, 57 points. Felt like that as his 4th season in the league. It was starting to go in the right direction. But since then, Pills, he's a minus 28 in the last 2 seasons with 69 points in 150 games. It's just not clicking for him the way that anybody thought it would. And now, no offense to these guys, but Noah Laba and Brendan Othman, like that's the line you're putting this guy on. Just not really a position to succeed, but he's had his opportunities higher in the lineup. So it's not totally on the team. The player needs to take responsibility. I just think there's too much talent there for him to be as bad as he's been.
Yeah, I mean, it might be a tough deal to move, though, Ross. He's got 7 years left at $7.45 million now.
Jesus.
But maybe there's teams looking at it and saying, hey, the cap is rising. He's only 24 years old. If we can get him back to those numbers that you mentioned, then it could be worth it. And maybe he can enter his prime and even go higher than that. Maybe just he's being kept down in the New York Rangers lineup where things just aren't working for him there. But yeah, that's a big contract to try to move if that's the Rangers' goal.
He got his contract right after his best season.
Of course. Yeah.
That's tough. Also going to be looking out for, not even kidding, but Gavrikov, because he's so used to playing with Adam Fox. And that pair obviously hasn't been together for the last number of days. And ever since Fox is out, funny, everyone calls Fox this only offensive defenseman, but since he's been out of lineup, the goals against have ballooned. Obviously, it coincides with Sturkin being out, but Quick had good numbers at the start of the season.
Yeah.
As a then proud fantasy hockey owner of Jonathan Quick, I was like, wow, this guy's having an incredible year at his age, but the wheels have fallen off there, and you got to think that moving the puck out of their own zone has been a reason for that. Like Scott Morrow, good young player, even though he shunned North Dakota. That was during the Nodak Sens era. He went to UMass instead. He was a part of the Keandre Miller trade to get to New York, and he started in the AHL, worked his way up. Like this D-core, it's kind of got a bit of everything in terms of like Robertson, Schneider, Gavrikov, big guys that can defend, Soucy as well, Borgen, Morrow, both on the slender side and maybe more your offensive puck movers. But without Adam Fox, man, there's a big hole back there that the Senators need to exploit with their forechecking tonight. So key to victory is score first, get this crowd to be real crabby tonight, and allow them to turn on the team. Because we know New York sports fans, much like Boston, very passionate, very unafraid to tell their team to take a hike if they're not playing well. So I think that they're already on edge with the way things have gone recently. I think that a quick start is as imperative as it's ever been tonight for the Sens.
And Ross, Sens get the win tonight. If I was the coaching staff, I'd say, boys, green light, go hit New York City. We'll head back home in the morning.
Yeah. I think that would be a tremendous play.
Right?
Because you go to New York on the second half of back-to-back. You're in at 4 a.m. I mean, the city never sleeps, but you better tonight because you got a big game. And the Sens got crushed in New York last year. Remember that 2-game trip where they lost to Boston and the New York Rangers? Although
they got shut out in both of those, didn't they?
Yeah. And the Rangers' secret weapon is now in Belleville. I think Arthur Kaliev had 2 goals in that game.
Yeah, he did.
Probably on the power play. Let me guess.
Yeah, honestly. Oh, man.
Final thoughts on today's show, Pillsy. Again, I'll remind everybody, 7:30 puck drop tonight from Madison Square Garden. We'll have the postcast for you live on YouTube right after the game.
No final thoughts from me, Ross. I'll just go
Whoa.
with the go Sens go.
When's Belleville back in action?
Great
Tonight.
question. Tonight. Against
the
who?
Laval Rocket.
Oh boy, a big one.
Yeah, big one. And we're expecting this to be a Mads game. Let's see what you got, Mads.
See it.
What you got? The people want you to win. Would love to see that tonight. Obviously, Laval's a tough matchup, but they got to get back into this North Division because it's a complete mess right now. Complete mess.
Yeah.
And Belleville is currently second last in the division. The good news is they're not ever going to be last because Utica stinks.
Yeah, poor Angus.
They're 8 points up on Utica. Now, as I look a little deeper, Belleville's played 5 more games than Utica.
Whoa.
So
Jeez.
maybe I should hold off on that unless I want to direct some attention to Belleville's struggles as well. But Ottawa's looking to get a streak going here. That's a big story in today's Senators sphere. And we will let you know on Twitter at Sens Central when we find out who is starting in goal. Is it James Reimer? Is it Levi Marilainen for the 9th straight game? 2nd straight back-to-back? I doubt it. Or is Hunter Shepard going to get his first start with the Ottawa Senators? Those are all to be decided. We'll talk to you on social media about that. For today, we say goodbye. For Brandon Piller, I'm Ross Levitan, and this has been another edition of the Locked On Senators podcast, your team every day.